Drama A-Level Top Tips. Drama A-Level is divided into 3 sections: devised, scripted, and then the written exam. Obviously you do the written exam last, but there's no particular order you have to do your devised or scripted in. But I'm going to be talking through the tips with devised coming first, just because I did my devised performance first. Tip number 1, pick your practitioner first, before you start picking any of your stimulus. There's so many potential things to make drama out of, so having a practitioner will help you narrow down your search. For example, if you decide you want to use Arto as a practitioner, you know then to look for stories with elements of ritual, religion, animalistic nature, all of that. Don't pick Stanislavski, as you'll be writing your own dialogue. It just won't work out unless you're secretly an incredible playwright specialising in naturalism, and even then it's really tricky. When picking your stimulus, use something that already has a structure, e.g. a myth or a legend. This will make it easier to break the story down into specific scenes. A tip then is to give each member of your group a scene, so then go away and pick the lines from the stimulus to use, and maybe some ideas for movement in order to save on time and make the actual rehearsal sessions more effective. When picking your stimulus, if you don't have an idea right away, everyone should go and do some research by themselves, and then you can take it in turns to present your ideas to each other. Even if then you can't decide, take all the ideas to your teacher and hopefully they'll help you pick one. If you get to a point in your devised where no one has any ideas, you're bored, or you just realise it's not working, it's completely okay to change your stimulus. Just make the decision and stick with it. Everyone in my drama class ended up changing their idea at least once, several weeks into the rehearsal process. We found that when you find an idea you actually care about, your final performance will be so much better than if you stuck with an idea you hate just because you've already devised one scene. Lastly, I've linked some resources for finding stimulus in the description. They include the Public Domain Review, which is a really great website where they talk about all the weird and wonderful things that have gone into the public domain. These can be books, stories, art, all of that is great for finding really original stuff. The Shortcuts podcast, which does the same, real life stories. National Geographic. Creation Myths are a great place to start, especially if you're doing Arto or anything where you use physical theatre, and Bible stories as well. For the written notebook, make sure you read all the examples on the examiner's website and look at how they were marked. Make sure you see what the examiner thinks is important. Even if you picked your practitioner first, it actually sounds better to say that you wanted to tell a certain story, then you picked a practitioner that would help you tell that story. It just sounds better to the examiner. Talk about all the various pieces of stimulus and research that you used. Did you see a play? Watch a documentary? Look at some art? It's super okay to talk about influences from all over the place. You want to get across the idea that research was a continuous process, so use phrases like, "This led us to this," in order to make it feel like an investigation. You want to find, one piece of research which led to another, which made you look up this, which made you go on this website, which made you go to this exhibition, it's got to be like a process. You want to talk about challenges, so don't try and make it look like it all went smoothly all the time. If you struggled with anything, say how you got over it. And if you had to scrap a scene, why did you have to scrap a scene? It's super okay to make mistakes, just write about them in your written notebook. And lastly, make sure everyone in your group decides on exactly why you picked your stimulus and your practitioner. You don't want everyone's notebook to have wildly different reasons when the decision was supposed to be made as a group. Scripted. Here are some ideas of things to do or say you did when exploring your extracts. Read through the whole play at least twice. The first time, read it with an audience's point of view and jot down any of your reactions you have to scenes so that you know how the audience might react. And then read through it again with an actor's point of view. In your group, perform a speed version of the play. As quick as you can, no scripts, just improvise lines. It helps you to understand key moments in the play. Make a list of words other people in the play have used to describe your character. Make a list of words your character has used to describe themselves and other characters. Rehearse the extracts multiple times with different weird side plots. For example, one of them's worried that they're being watched, or this character is secretly in love with the other character. Use things that are relevant to the play, but then experiment by going completely off genre too. Even if they seem silly, you might actually find something that works, and you'll start to see the extract with different perspectives. If you're doing a Shakespeare monologue or duologue or anything like that, write a modern translation of your extract, then perform the modern translation, and copy how you perform those lines to your performance using the original text. Research the socio-political context of setting and the writer's life. Action the text. Write a diary entry from the perspective of your character. Make a mood board. And now here's some more general tips. Pick your play first, because that's what you'll have to work with, and unlike devised, you can't change anything you're not happy with, so make sure you like your play. Pick the extract of the play that best fits your practitioner. Try and make it so that the extract will stand up on its own without context, otherwise the audience, who might not know the rest of the play, probably won't engage with it as much, and the performance may feel stale from your point of view. Learn your lines as soon as humanly possible. I know everyone says this, but it can't be said enough. As soon as you don't have a script in your hand, a whole world opens up for you in terms of character decisions. The reflective report, talk about all those little investigation things that I mentioned. Did you learn anything from them? How did they help? What did you learn from exploring your first extract that helped you with your second? Was your third extract informed by anything you'd learned over these explorations? Here are some tips for the written exam. Go through the entire play and make brief notes on staging for every scene. You never know what might come up, and it's just best to be prepared for every single eventuality. It does need to take long, just annotate a couple of scenes and, you'll remember some of the ideas you came up with. For the live theatre section, make up an opening paragraph you can use in any situation and for any question that they ask you. You can use this structure. Say when you went to see it and its name, briefly describe the plot and key themes in 2 sentences, then describe the theatre company and how they work, then say the actors and the designers, and then how the theatre company and these actors suit this play. And there we are, that is all my top tips for Drama A-Level. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll try and answer them. But yeah, good luck with your exams, I'm sure you'll do brilliantly.